Welcome to Let's Discuss with Lance Hall. Happy to welcome Clif Magness to the program tonight. A producer, engineer, songwriter, Grammy winner, and now put out his second solo album, correct, Clif?
Number two, yes. The first one was called Solo. That was, that was about 24 years ago.
Yeah. Now, when you have a long space between that, here's my standard line with that. Were you working at a Boston or a Guns N' Roses base?
Okay. I guess early Boston would be at that pace, or actually late Boston. Yeah, that would be Boston pace.
Yeah, I was going to say from between about Don't Look Back and Third Stage, you know?
Exactly.
The new album is called Lucky Dog. It came out July 13th on Frontiers Records. Really good stuff. I played through it a couple of times in the last few days since we lined up this interview. Excellent stuff. Were these all new songs, or were there any that you had kicking around for a while, or is this everything brand new?
These are just about all brand new. The song Maybe is a couple years old, but all the rest of them were written specifically for this record.
Cool. You worked with some old friends, and you made some new friends making this album. Tell us about that.
Oh, okay. I was signed to Quincy Jones in the 80s, Quincy Jones Publishing Company, as a songwriter, and then was sort of upgraded to a producer for Quincy Jones Productions. And along the way, I wrote some songs with a guy named Mark Muller, who had a hit with Heart for a song called "It Was Nothing at All."
Oh, really?
And yeah, he wrote that song, and I actually sang the demo of that song that he got the Heart cut with, coincidentally. But great songwriter, great for like kick-ass, rock and roll lyrics. He wrote "If We Can't Do It," that was on Solo. That was in the film Race for Glory. He and I wrote 3 songs on the demo that actually landed my publishing deal for me. And those 3 songs ended up on Jack Wagner's album.
Right.
Which I had my first hit with on me. But to answer your question, he was someone that I wrote with back in the day. So I wanted to get him on this new record because I needed some real positive, sort of aggressive lyrics like "Ain't No Way" is written with him, and Brock Walsh as well. We both came up through the trenches at Quincy's company, and Brock wrote the song "Automatic" for the Pointer Sisters. That was a hit back in the day, and real pro songwriters. He wrote with me. He wrote "Unbroken" and "Don't Look Now," and "Nobody But You" on the new record.
Oh.
And then Sherry Adams is a new songwriter in town from Chicago. She's fantastic. We wrote "Like You," and so she's a new collaborator. Robin Beck as well.
Yeah, that duet you do with Robin is fantastic.
Oh, thanks. That sort of kicked off the whole recording process of Lucky Dog. I thought that it would be a good idea to reach out to her. I've been a fan of hers for years. Robin actually covered a song of mine called "Footprints in the Rain" many years ago, and I've always loved her voice, so I thought I'd reach out because she's quite popular in the genre as well, and we feel like we've known each other for our lives, and we never even met.
Yeah.
Technology these days. She lives in Florida, I live in California, and we were able to, collaborate, write, and record a duet. And so she actually introduced me to Frontiers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, your son Evan played guitar on this as well?
He did, yeah. He's a fantastic musician. He's actually more of a metal musician. He plays stellar guitar, he plays bass in his own band. He produces other bands. So, yeah, he came up and played like half half the record, rhythm electric guitars.
Yeah. Speaking as a father myself, so knowing what it's like, having your kids take an interest in your work and stuff, there's nothing cooler than having your kids involved in a project like this, isn't there?
Oh yeah, you love to see them, their wings help them to fly, and they just, it's just so gratifying, to come full circle like that.
Absolutely.
He's played with me actually. We produced a band in Germany one year, and he and I did. We went over there together and produced them, and he's actually done some performing with me on stage too. So he's my right-hand buddy.
Very cool. Tommy Denander also did some guitar work, and he got Josh Freese to come in and play on a track on drums as well. Pretty good company right there.
Yeah, Josh is an old friend. I met Josh when he was about 15, and he played on a project for me as a project for Wendy and Carney Wilson. Their solo record after all the Wilson Phillips stuff.
Yeah.
And he played on Avril's records for me, Kelly Clarkson's record, 2 records of hers he played on. Whenever I need real solid rock and roll drumming, Josh is the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Tommy as well. Tommy did a shredding solo on the song "Shout."
Yeah.
Lucky Dog. He's a great player.
Yeah. That's a great tune. I got to tell you, in listening to that song, I cranked it up. I think I went back to it about 3 times to crank it today. And I mean this completely in a complimentary fashion. This is not a knock at all. This is a total compliment. When I listen to Shout and the way that song is structured and the way it's delivered and everything, to me that's like the best song that Bon Jovi never did.
That is high praise, my friend. Are you kidding me?
It just has a great Bon Jovi-esque feel. From your delivery on vocal, you got a couple of na-na-na-na-nas in there. You got the haze on the backing vocals on one other part. I'm like, this is really, really cool. I could hear it like at a sporting event or something,
Well, let's hope it ends up in one.
Yeah, I think it lends itself to a big arena like that. Really, very cool.
Living on a Prayer is absolutely one of my favorite tracks of all time. Even now when it comes on the radio, I crank it up because it has such definitive energy and drive and meaning. You just feel like that's what I wanted Lucky Dog to represent. Actually, was to overcome hardship and to help you through those blue days that we all get.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I listen to Living on a Prayer, it always puts me in a great mood. So I was hoping to do that with these songs as well. So I appreciate you calling that song out.
Here's a perfect song to segue into that I found just had such an incredibly positive message, was Nobody But You. I thought, in this era of social media where everybody just has so much info on everybody and you deal with this FOMO, this fear of missing out, and you're looking at everybody, it all comes down to you, and what you want to do with your life and how you perceive things. And I thought that song just laid it out perfectly.
Oh, great. I appreciate that. That's what we were looking for that song. Was, sort of a step into a more organic sonic landscape with, sometimes just sort of acoustic guitars, obviously, and some hand drum. I have a big hand drum in my studio I play on sometimes. It's just so organic and, close to the ground. But I love how Brock Walsh turned the lyric around the end, and it said, I'm looking at it, see, on the right line. I'll be the right whether you let go, hold me tight, nobody but you. He turns it around to you saying it to yourself, to actually saying it to somebody else. Nobody but you, sort of understands me and gets me.
Yeah, exactly. The other tune I really, really liked was Unbroken. to me, that had kind of like that late 80s, early 90s Chicago ballad kind of vibe to it. But again, just a great, great tune about love and loss and picking yourself up and everything. I thought it was fantastic.
Thank you. That's exactly, again, what it's about. It's just overcoming adversity and dusting off, picking it. I also wanted to sort of give my handful of loyal fans out there in the world something that was reminiscent of I Don't Want to Say Goodnight from the Planet 3 album.
Yeah.
Because that was a very popular song that I wrote with Jay Graydon and Glenn Ballard for our group Planet 3.
Right.
And so I wanted to, to kind of like just have a reminiscent thing with the stacked vocals and the piano and the big hook. The melody drives that song. As far as chord progressions are concerned, I wasn't trying to be tricky or smart. I just let the melody kind of just go up the escalator with each section, and then complemented that with Brock helping with the lyric and having that be so positive. I appreciate that.
Cool. How does it feel after being involved, and you've named a virtual who's who of people that you've worked with and collaborated with as producer, songwriter, and you granted you put out some of the solo stuff and a little bit of group stuff, but it's been a while. How does it feel to have an album out now that says Clif Magness on the cover? It's your name on there, your baby. How's that make you feel?
Well, it feels great.
Yeah.
And my wife suggested the title Lucky Dog because she just looked at me one day and we were just sort of talking about our life, and she said, you're a lucky dog. I don't know, what a great title for the album. And the first video I shot for the record was the song Ain't No Way, and I borrowed my neighbor down the street. I borrowed his 72 Bronco to shoot the video, and so we had images of this orange Bronco, and it just seemed perfect to put our little miniature Australian Shepherd in the driver's seat and call it Lucky Dog.
Cool. So that's your dog that's in the driver's seat?
Yeah, it is.
Very cool. Excellent.
Yeah.
Take you back in time a little bit. You grew up in Lubbock, Texas. Talk about a melting pot of music. Buddy Holly, Delbert McClinton, Mac Davis. That must have been awesome. And you were there until you were like 19 through your formative years. I think I was reading somewhere when you were 13 in your bedroom, you had a mixer and two tape players. You were just something you started at an early age.
Exactly. You've done your homework. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a small TIAC mixer, and I had two cassette decks, back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would do is, record something on one cassette, and then literally ping-pong it to the other cassette while adding another track to it. So clearly, by the time you had 8 or 10 tracks, the hiss level was absorbent. But it didn't matter because I was singing harmonies with myself and overdubbing, acoustic guitar tracks and things.
Yeah.
While coming home from, high school.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Yeah, you're right. And the melting pot aspect of Lubbock is extraordinary, really. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it's sort of in the middle of nowhere, and it also has a large university, Texas Tech.
Sure.
There.
Yeah.
And so it's because of that, and just the residents of the town really are music fans. I mean, you could make a very good living as a musician in Lubbock, Texas, even still today. With clubs and restaurants and venues and things. It's just a very music appreciation town.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of great talent came out of that town.
Absolutely. Then you moved to LA at 19. You got a job with Chrysalis Records. One of the first albums you started shipping out to people, I'm assuming you were like A&R or something, was Blondie, Parallel Lines?
I was literally in the mailroom. That was my job. It was my first job on Sunset Boulevard after I moved out here.
Wow.
And yeah, that was a heady time because I was in the mailroom, sequestered away from all of the creative activity. However, all of the A&R people and secretaries would always walk through the mailroom because they had something special to mail with some, promo guy or DJ or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first mailing out that week was was Pat Benatar's first record. Blondie Parallel Lines. There was a Trevor Rabin solo album they had. Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
Huey Lewis was on the label. It was a powerful label at the time.
Now I've got to ask you, and maybe I'm getting a little picky here. On Pat Benatar's first album, In the Heat of the Night, I can remember having an early pressing of it. I'm assuming it was an early pressing. And We Live for Love, that song, sounded one way. And then I forget what happened to that album. I cracked it or broke it or something. I bought another album a little bit later on. And that song changed. I can't remember if they took a guitar out and put a keyboard in, or took a keyboard out, put a guitar in. Do you remember anything about that, or am I just crazy in my old age?
You're probably not crazy at all. I'm sure that, back then, if you think about White Snake, for instance, White Snake had a song called Here I Go Again on My Own, and they had a version of that was a hit, and then they re-recorded it and made a different version that had keyboards, and he sung it just slightly different, and just not as a B-side or anything like that, just sort of not even a remix. I think it was just kind of let's do this because we want to, and they probably did that on that Pat Benatar song.
Yeah, I remember buying the second one and thinking this song sounds different. It's been like remixed or something, but anyways.
Yeah.
I wanted to toss out just a few names of people that you've worked with, just to get we all know them, from their star persona. If you could just give me a couple of words of regular person persona.
Okay.
Steve Perry.
Steve Perry, yeah, we had a great collaboration. It was interesting writing with him because I really believe he was such a stadium performer that when we would write, he would want to wear headphones and have a microphone and have lots of reverb in the mix and the headphones, so he kind of felt like he was on stage.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. And we went out to lunch every day with my wife, and spent 2 hours having lunch. But yeah, we had a good time.
Cool. You met Avril Lavigne when she was just 16. Did you see her stardom coming?
Oh my gosh, no. She was adorable and very, I would say she was very normal. She wasn't flashy. You couldn't tell. You could tell she was ambitious, but she wasn't just all about being a star. She just wanted to be good.
Cool.
I think.
Excellent.
Yeah.
David Foster.
One of my mentors. Yeah, absolutely. I met David early on with a song I'd written called I'm Your Boyfriend. And he was currently recording an album for Dara Sedaka, Neil Sedaka's daughter.
Right.
And so he recorded that song, obviously called it I'm Your Girlfriend, and had me sing backgrounds on it, which was extraordinary. This is 1980. This is 4 years after I moved to LA, so that was a really great thing. But David and I are friends. He played on "The Day I Fall in Love," which is the Academy Award nominated song from Beethoven's Second. He actually produced that song, that track.
Yeah.
He came over and we wrote with Glenn Ballard the song for Celine Dion's first album. She came over to meet us and didn't speak English at all, so that was fun.
Cool. I read a book a number of years ago called Making Records by Phil Ramone. Did you ever rub shoulders with him at all?
I did not. No, Glenn spoke highly of him, Glenn Ballard, in our working relationship. Spoke highly of Phil, and I had great respect, obviously, for Phil. I love Billy Joel records. Yeah, so one of the greats.
Quincy Jones. This is the closest I'll get to some of the acts that he was ever did. I'm thinking Michael Jackson, Aretha Franklin.
Yeah, working with Quincy was never a dull moment. Because he, first of all, any recording session with Quincy involves a film crew, because some film crew from some country in the world is filming a documentary on Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
So you have to wear your best duds, and make sure your hair's combed for the camera.
Yeah.
But mainly, the main thing that resonates with me, Lance, with Quincy, was that anytime I was around him, I was reminded why I was in this business at all. Okay, it was never. Let's put it this way: it was always inspiring and forward-thinking and focused and joyful being around him in the studio or at his home. We did some work at his home, and of course, he had a big choir on my song, "The Place to Find Love."
Yeah.
And talk about a star-studded choir. Luther Vandross is in there, Jennifer Holiday, Dionne Warwick. I was standing right next to Dionne Warwick singing my song. That was pretty crazy.
That's royalty right there. That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah. And what's interesting, just creative-wise, to the vocalists out there, Luther Vandross, the choir was about 10 people, and we were singing the chorus really loud. And Luther comes out, he says, come, and he comes out in front of the choir and he says, you know what? We need to all dial it back about 30% because we'll have a better blend and it'll be more powerful that way. And so we did, and man, was he ever right. He nailed that one.
Very cool. The last one I got to ask you about, just because I love these guys, and when they came out and hit, I was all over this tune, was you worked a little bit with Hanson?
I did, yeah. I wrote a song with Hanson. Great family. The family is 6.
Yeah.
And they may be a family of, well, of course, Taylor's had children now and stuff, so I don't know how many they all have now. But when they showed up to my studio, all 6 kids came, 2 parents, and, the 3 boys and their father went into my studio to write. Yeah. And the father, it wasn't sort of like a weird, chaperone type thing. It was just genuine love and interest.
Very cool.
But they did audition sort of for me, which I thought was so cute and flattering. They sang a song they'd written and to show me how powerful they were and how the harmonies sounded and stuff.
Yeah.
And so that was cool. So we wrote a song called Madeline. It just came out that way. There's no particular story. Yeah. It just sounded good sung.
Cool.
Yeah, but they were great.
Excellent. Once again, talking with Clif Magness here, and Let's Discuss with Lance Hall. His new album out on Frontiers Records right now, available everywhere, called Lucky Dog. If you're looking for a great slice of melodic rock, feel-good music, upbeat, positive vibes, this is definitely the album for you. Cliff, I always like to wind up with just some fun questions. I'm hoping these are questions maybe you've never even been asked. Sound good?
Yeah, sure.
Are you usually late, early, or on time?
I am an on-time, if not early, person.
Okay. That comes from my session work. I did a lot of session work as a guitarist, sure.
On jingles and other people's records and things like that. So you can't afford to be late to those things. You walk in late with the likes of, Vinnie Colaiuta and Jimmy Johnson and Steve Lukather. They're looking at you like, what? What's going on?
Time is money.
Yeah, exactly.
Given your choice of household chores, would you rather do the dishes or the laundry?
That's a tough one because I like them both.
Okay.
But I guess, I do the dishes a lot after, I'd say dishes. But my favorite household chore is gardening.
Gardening, okay. All right. Late at night and you're hungry, what do you grab for a midnight snack?
Popcorn is a good low-cal thing.
Okay.
It's like too noisy to chew on crudité like celery and stuff. That'll wake up my wife. So,
Favorite smell?
Yeah. Smell?
Favorite smell?
The smell of charcoal, burning, like
sure.
with mesquite charcoal grill.
Yeah. Growing up in Texas, this ought to be a fun one. Who's your favorite old school wrestler?
Let's see. I wasn't that into wrestling.
Oh, okay, really?
I can't answer that question intelligently.
All right, no problem. Would you rather go back in time and meet your ancestors or forward in time and meet your great-great-great-grandchildren?
Wow. I think go forward sounds good. Sounds really good because I grew up with my great-grandfather and my two grandmothers, and I know a lot about the past, so I would love to know what happens in the future, yeah.
All right, this one's generally the one we have the most fun with. If they were to make a movie of your life, what actor would you have play you in the movie?
Oh, man. Can I choose anyone?
Anybody. It's your movie. It's your life.
That's a tough one, man. I mean, I'm a real, manly dude, so, Steve McQueen would pop out.
There you go. Yep.
Somebody like that, probably.
Okay.
I'll go with that.
Steve McQueen. Last one. What makes a good producer?
You got to be a good listener, and you have to be, in so being a good listener, you become a good coach. Because that's the main thing a producer does is not only you organize sessions and book musicians and things like that, but the best and most important part is drawing the best out of the artist who you're producing, and that requires listening and coaching.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Once again, Clif Magness here, and let's discuss with Lance Hall his new album, Lucky Dog, out now on Frontiers Records, available at all media outlets everywhere. Clif, I thank you very, very much for taking the time to chat with me tonight.
Thank you, Lance. I really appreciate it.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.